Honor, compassion, and community is written on every police car at that station. I want to know where it is. These officers are trained to brutally end a situation with no honor, no community, or compassion. They have taken long-standing citizens of this community and turned them into criminals. When SPD shows up, they escalate the situation with aggressiveness, then violence by attacking you. They commit aggravated assault. Then they charge you with it. The exact crime that they have committed on you, they charge it. I witnessed this. I will never forget the day that I was called by Sergeant Leone to come to my fiance's home. They were hauling her away. When I got there, Sergeant Leone was bopping her chest in the driveway. I pulled up. She says, she thought she could take me. She thought she could take me. I taught her something different. I was there for this whole thing. Her and Shayla Jones were out there laughing, puffing their chests. After brutally attacking her, stripping her half naked, and then dragging her in a police car with a male driver. Now she's a convicted felon. She's a teacher. She was born in this community. These officers here, they're this is the Sedona Brutality Force. This needs change, big change, overhaul. They don't pull people over peacefully. When they stop you, they're looking for any reason to rip you out of your car. They do it all the time. This will go national. I'd advise you guys heed the warning. Public safety at the hands of SPD is actually assaulting its citizens legally.
Thank you, Timothy. Gaia Lamb. Be followed by Shandra Ryan, sorry.
This doesn't seem like a day of good news, does it?
Can you state your name and place of residence, please?
My name is Gaia Lamb, and I've been a Sedona resident. Well, I lived here before there was a city. And I am part of a group called Peace Force, and we have met with Annette and with the police chief, but we felt it was time to come to the city council because I feel threatened, other people threatened by the police here in Sedona. A year and a half ago, I was arrested and spent the night in jail, which everybody always goes, what? I mean, I'm 83. I was 81 then. I'm a teacher, a spiritual counselor, practitioner of health, and I never had anything like this happen to me before. Well, it was a great experience in regard to experiences in life, but it really took a toll. And I don't want this happening to other people. I had a slight accident, ran my car into the ditch, kind of. My son came to help me, and when we all thought it was all over and everything was fine, my son was thrown to the ground, and then I reacted, and because of my reactions, I was grabbed and hurt, and then arrested, and then for resisting arrest, of course I resisted, and then I got to spend the night in jail. So there are quite a lot of us. We found each other that have been unduly hurt by police in this town. I've also been stopped and been, cordially handled. But this case, apparently, what happened to me has happened to quite a few other people and continues to happen. So the cost of all this was huge PTSD, especially for my son, who's disabled, and it cost me around $15,000. And, time that I could be serving, because that's what I do. My purpose in life is serving. So I wanted to share this with you today because we want to bring this forward so that we can do something better
Thank you.
is the point, to do something better.
Shandra Ryan?
I'm Shandra Ryan. I'm a resident of Sedona. Thank you for letting me be here. I am a native-born Sedonian. My family's lived here for over 50 years. I'm a teacher, a mother. I've been a foster parent, a church member here. This November marks 2 years since I had an incident where I witnessed all of this myself. I was a victim of this. There was a noise complaint to my home, and when I tried to stop the officers from opening the door and letting my dogs come out, they forced their way in. 2 officers grabbed me and held me, while another officer elbowed me in the head, kneed me in the gut, and they threw me to the ground. They shoved my head into the ground, and they said, "Stop resisting, stop resisting." And I said, "What are you doing?" And they said, "All right, that's it. We're putting you under arrest." And they put my hands behind my back, and they kept shoving my head into the ground where they had already put a major trauma. And they hauled me off to jail. And, you know, through the justice process, it didn't make sense to try to fight the police department in this small town. And it was right around Christmastime. My kids were being told they couldn't see me until we resolved this case. And so I went ahead and took the plea with the prosecuting attorney's, you know, help and my defending attorney. And it's just been a shock to me. I really thought this was just a crazy one-off thing. Maybe the universe was teaching me a lesson about something from my past karma or whatever. But come to find out, it's happened to many other people, and by the same set of officers. And so we're going to be reaching out into the community about this. I'm going to be sending information to you, but I wanted to introduce myself personally and let you see who we are. And we have a little group called the Peace Force, and it has been very nice that the city has been able to let us communicate about this and is willing to listen to us about suggestions for training. We believe that the officers in our city need to understand the culture of where we live. We have people from all different walks of life, but we are the citizens, and we need to be protected. And so thank you for listening to us, and we appreciate everything you're doing and for representing our city.
Thank you. We're not allowed to communicate with you in this type of forum, or we might be asking you questions, but we legally can't do it. But I'm glad, Annette, that you're going to look into this.
I've met with them twice, and we have some outstanding, information requests on both sides for continued dialogue, and they did let me know that they would be here tonight to share with you as well. So, so we have been meeting with them.
We appreciate you coming here. Thank you. Michael James Long.
Hello, good afternoon. I go by Michael James Long. I'm a state citizen of Arizona. I've been domiciled here for 9 years. I have many grave concerns. Starting off, the local law enforcement officers here have specifically targeted the most vulnerable members of the Sedona community, such as the unhoused, those with medical needs, and people seeking spiritual, not material goals. The hunting and vendetta against such people is not only illegal, but also the misappropriation of public money and police time that could be better spent keeping secure the rights and the property of the community. I have personally experienced being hunted by drones and followed up by officers on foot around 5 a.m. for many years since about 2020. That was the first time I was arrested with a drone. This has been happening for about 9 years that I have personally observed. I've been slandered with the term transient, and I have been here longer than many office holders and police officers. Such is discrimination and defamation. I filed a notice of claim with the city yesterday. I've been arrested several times for not having a house and sleeping outside when there is no affordable housing in this city. This is the criminalization of the poor. And the primary reason I am unhoused is due to medical complications, chemical sensitivity, and electromagnetic sensitivity. I was brutalized by the Sedona Police Department officers about 3 years ago. They said I must have a contract with the state of Arizona, and I told them it was against my religion and identified to the best of my ability without paper or money according to my religion, for which I was delivered the kidnapping of my body, being tasered and bruised on every limb of my body, while sustained a head trauma that caused 53 days of brain swelling and my inability to walk 100 feet for 6 weeks. The extraordinary levels of trauma inflicted and endured have been a major detriment to my life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, resulting in lasting damages physically, mentally, and emotionally. Article 13, Section 2 of the Arizona Constitution of 1910 states, a city may frame a charter for its own governance consistent with and subject to the Constitution and the laws of the state. Yet the city of Sedona and their enforcement officers have been in violation of the Constitution and the constitutional rights of the community members for almost a decade. My automobile, which is registered in a foreign state, was willfully ignored by Sedona Police Department officers, and my operational capacity, which comes from the U.S. Department of Transport, was also willfully ignored by Sedona Police Department officers, who demanded again that I contract only with the state of Arizona. The Sedona Police Department seems to feel justified in ignoring U.S. code and federal laws to the detriment, injury, and damage of the community and Commonwealth. And furthermore, and finally, in 2020, a friend I was working with named Eddie ran for city council, and he was twice delivered death threats by the Sedona Police Department. And following the police assassination of Johnny, January 20th of 2020, who did independent news media, Eddie took the threat so seriously he left the country. If we cannot solve these things politically, we don't know what else to do. This is supposed to be a very spiritual place. I pray for purity. I pray for spirit to guide everyone. Aho matakiasin, ho'oponopono. Thank you for your time. Blessings.
Thank you. Would you like some water?
I have something.
Okay. Rachel Collins?
Hello, my name is Rachel Collins. I've been a resident of Sedona since 2007. I filed a lawsuit against the city of Sedona September 18th, after which Scotty Jablow, our mayor, promptly quit, finally. It has been absolutely horrific, the acrimony and the accusations between our public officials against each other. It was Mr. Jablow against the police chief, and no one, although the national media has taken notice, and we, the people, now have their notice and an opportunity to talk about how this has affected us. Until this time, we've never had this opportunity. I've been a full-time pro bono advocate in this community because I was disabled, initially could not work, and I constantly saw people in this community in need, people who are being traumatized, people who are being treated terribly by people who are supposed to be our officials and our leaders. But in the last 10 years, this police department has gotten horrible, absolutely brutal. And because I do have this lawsuit that is now out of the notice of claim period, I was seeing multiple attorneys in Phoenix right before Christmas. And they acknowledge that they know what the city of Sedona and other law enforcement agencies in collusion together have been doing in Yavapai County, because they see the victims that are trying to get representation for criminal defense when there is no actual crime that has been committed. They have been falsely charged. They've been jammed through a prosecutorial process that is completely illegal. And they're behind us. The attorneys said they want us to stand up. They want to help us because this is absolutely diabolical. And unfortunately, my situation came from somewhat opposite of these other good people, which is that the police of Sedona refused to take a crime report, that I was a victim of something so severe, a racketeering situation that's happening in Yavapai County by people who are well-known, influential, and have money. And therefore, the Sedona police wanted to cover up for that because of their relationships with these people. And so I lost my home, I lost all my possessions, and I lost my businesses because of how enormous the crime was. I was suicidal for 2 years because of this. It's a miracle I'm still standing here today. And I'm standing for everyone in this community who has been unjustly and unfairly treated and harmed by what is going on in this city that is not right and must immediately be handled. And when I was down in Phoenix talking to these attorneys, they told me if a police officer ever assaults a citizen, they immediately lose their immunity. They should immediately be investigated by the chief of police and the city officials, and be prosecuted.